Yeah, so the title kind of says it all. I'm sure by the time the video is uploaded, you guys have heard about this, but Mourinho has been sacked for the second time as Chelsea manager. And sorry if I look really depressed right now, because it literally happened like 20 minutes ago at the time of recording this. And if you guys have been reading some of my comments that I've made in my old video, and in fact I made a video talking about this very topic, about Mourinho and why I don't think he should be sacked. Just a week ago I made a video about that. Be sure to go check that out if you guys want to hear my reasoning as to why I didn't want Mourinho to be sacked, why I think this is a huge mistake by the club, and yeah. And the thing is, I do understand that there were two sides to the argument. There were people that wanted Mourinho to be sacked. There were people that didn't want him to be sacked. In fact, Fulcane, who's a viewer of the channel, hi if you're watching this. Firstly, you got your wish. Secondly, you were one of the people who don't want Mourinho to be sacked, and you did give some good reasons in the comment section of that other video. And by the way, guys, I'll link that video in the description down below if you want to go check that out. But there were two sides to the argument, definitely. But for me, the big reason that I didn't want him to be sacked is because I absolutely love the guy. I mean, from outside of footballing level, just as a person, I love that guy. As you guys saw, I have this book. I just love the guy. I just do, because from everything he's brought to the club since 2005, not just his second stint, all the way back to the beginning, it's been absolutely incredible. And it's a big shame that he's gone. But let's actually talk about the officialities, if that's a word. As you can see, it's a Chelsea website. By the way, all the links to anything that I'm putting up here will be in the description down below. Chelsea Football Club and Jose Mourinho have today parted company by mutual consent. I'll read the whole thing to you guys. Well, the official wording by the club. Here we go. All at Chelsea thank Jose for his immense contribution since he returned as manager in the summer of 2013. His 3 league titles, FA Cup, Community Shield, and 3 League Cup wins over 2 spells, making the most successful manager in our 110-year history. But both Jose and the board have agreed results have not been good enough this season, and believe it is in the best interest of both parties to go our separate ways. The club wishes to make clear Jose leaves us on good terms and will always remain a much-loved, respected, and significant figure at Chelsea. His legacy at Stamford Bridge and in England has long been guaranteed, and he will always be warmly welcomed back to Stamford Bridge. The club's focus is now on ensuring our talented squad reaches its potential, and there will be no further comments until a new appointment is made. And I will talk about that new appointment later on in the video. And as they said, there will be no further comment. In fact, Chelsea have cancelled tomorrow's press conference ahead of our game against Sunderland on Saturday. They've cancelled that press conference. Guys, this is shocking. It's really sad stuff. And just to back it up, I've got BBC Sport up as well, reporting the same thing. Telegraph, Sky Sports, everyone's reporting it. Everyone's got their own theory of what's happening. Everyone's got their own opinion on what should have happened. Everyone's got their own opinion on who's going to be the next Chelsea manager. In this video, I'm just going to be getting out my thoughts about this. But firstly, I just feel like I need to give a tribute to Mourinho. And Mourinho, if you're watching this, really you have nothing to be ashamed about. You have nothing to be sorry about, apologetic about, nothing to be regretful about, because you did something at this club that really no other manager has done at this club. And as it said, the most successful manager in our club's history. You have a special bond with the club, with the fans, especially me, and millions out there who are just like me, who love you to bits. You have been so successful, you've been so incredible, and we're really gonna miss you. And I honestly think that the board made a huge mistake sacking you, but that's life. Hopefully, your legacy will remain at Stamford. In fact, I'm 100% sure that your legacy will remain at Stamford Bridge, because that's something that the board doesn't control. That's something that the fans control, and you have the full support of all the fans. In fact, this season was one of our worst starts in the club's history. I'm not hiding that. But the fact that the fans remain behind your back until the day of your sacking shows so much about what you did in the past and how much you mean to us. So it sucks to say goodbye. Hopefully, you know what, I really hope you return for a third spell, but it's hard to imagine that after the relationship you've had with the board. And yeah, just thank you. But yeah, guys, back to the video. Mourinho has been sacked, and BBC Sport, along with so many other outlets, are reporting possible successors to Mourinho, and the four that are being touted are Pep Guardiola, Gus Hiddink, what's that guy, Brendan Rodgers, and I forgot his name, Juan de Ramos. Those four are the ones that are being seen as the successors of Mourinho. And in fact, there's so much speculation going on right now. In fact, if you go on Wikipedia, or at least at the time of recording this, if you go on Wikipedia, type in Juan de Ramos and check his profile, it says that he's the current manager of Chelsea, which is strange. He's not, by the way. Maybe it is, because the video is going to be uploaded a day late because of upload times, Wi-Fi, blah blah blah. But by the way, guys, I'm recording this on Thursday night, or like in UK time or in GMT. I'm recording this 4 p.m. on Thursday, so my facts could be slightly outdated. Maybe a new manager has been appointed, who knows? But at the time of recording, this is all that's been out. Let me just go through them one by one. Pep Guardiola. Of course, he's currently the manager of Bayern Munich. There's a lot of speculation. In fact, it's basically almost confirmed at this point that he's going to be leaving Bayern Munich at the end of the season. But some people are even saying that he's going to leave this January. In fact, let me just double check that. Give me a sec, guys. I should have really checked this out before. Pep Guardiola to leave. Yeah, but Pep Guardiola, we all know he's a great manager. By the way, I hate Barcelona. I hate Guardiola. In fact, I hate them all. No, I don't hate Guardiola. I hate Barcelona. That's because of that game that shall not be named. But we all know he's a quality manager. He's built two incredible teams at Bayern Munich and at Barcelona, and that you could argue he didn't really build them. He was kind of given them, but that's a debate on its own. Just that, guys. Yeah, but he does inspire his team to play good football. He's won countless trophies, and he would be a very, very, very what's the word? Accomplished, very appropriate successor to someone like Mourinho at a club like Chelsea. And by the way, I'm just reading this Sky Sports report here. They're all saying that Pep Guardiola would probably leave at the end of the season. Yes, there's nothing saying that he's gonna leave in January. I can't find anything, but I have heard that from some people in the comment section down below, and also I'm pretty sure I've read that somewhere as well. Maybe that's just speculation, but you know, we need someone now. We're not gonna hold out for someone in the summer. So Guardiola for now isn't a viable option, I guess, in a way. But who knows? Maybe he'll quit Bayern to join us, because you know. And if you guys have been following Chelsea for the last 6 or 7 years, you'll know very well that Roman Abramovich has had his eye on Pep Guardiola for the longest time. Really, he has had his eye on Guardiola for the last however many, 6, 7, 8 years. It's actually crazy. Maybe not 8 years, because Mourinho was at Chelsea then, but you know, really, ever since Mourinho left, he's had his eye on Guardiola, really. So I wouldn't be surprised if he makes some attempt to sign him. But there are other options, such as Gus Hiddink. Gus Hiddink, actually, an interesting stat by Opta just released on Twitter, saying that the only manager to have a better points-to-game ratio than Jose Mourinho in his first spell was Gus Hiddink. And that's very strange. But the thing is, Gus Hiddink, firstly, inherited a team built by Mourinho. Secondly, had a much shorter spell, a matter of months, not even a whole season, if my memory serves me right, at Chelsea. So I don't think that makes him a better manager than Mourinho. Definitely, Mourinho's a better manager, but he is a great manager. And as a South Korean, I can what's the word? I can basically say that he's a great manager, because if you guys remember the 2002 World Cup, which is held in South Korea / Japan, Gus Hiddink took South Korea to the semi-finals of the World Cup, I have to admit, there was a lot of controversy surrounding that, but he did do it, which does say a lot about, you know, how good of a manager that he is, and he has been at Chelsea in the past. So maybe there is a bit of networking going on between the Chelsea board and Hiddink agents. Who knows? Third option, Brendan Rodgers. He's actually one of the ones out of the four here. He is the least reported one, but he is still reported. But he is the least out of the four. I really hope he doesn't join Chelsea. I mean, I know Rodgers is can be a good manager. You know, he was there when Sterling was at his best, when Suarez was demolishing the league. He was there. He was the one he brought Jordan Henderson up the ranks. He did a lot of good things at Liverpool, okay? But he also did a lot of bad things at Liverpool. And I know he was Mourinho's assistant. So in a way, it's kind of fitting that, you know, Mourinho succeeded by his apprentice, if you will. But I just don't think, you know, looking at these options, I don't think Brendan, I really hope he doesn't join us. The final option being reported is Juan de Ramos. And Juan de Ramos is actually someone that I didn't know when I first saw his name. I have to admit, I didn't know him. Maybe he's really famous and I'm just really ignorant, who knows. But I didn't know him, so I had to search him up. And as I said, when I went on his Wikipedia page, it did say that he was still at Chelsea. And it did say that he was the manager of Chelsea. I still want to check that right now to see if that's true, because that's quite funny. But, you know, I don't know a lot about him. So I can't talk about him as much as I can talk about Hiddink, Rodgers, and Guardiola, because I know those three like the back of my hand. But this guy, let me just go back through his thing. He's managed a lot of clubs. Says he's managed since 1990. But the most notable are Tottenham Hotspur from 2007 to 8, Real Madrid from 2008 to 2009, and those are the most notable managements. But just looking at his things, in fact, I would advise you guys to go look at his Wikipedia right now. If I remember, I will post that in the description as well. But go on his Wikipedia. If you look at his teams, the maximum he's stayed in a club is for like 3 seasons, but mostly he's only had 1-year stints. So that kind of contradicts, you know, Chelsea's belief of building a legacy, of building, you know, a dynasty. So I really don't think he's the appropriate man for the job. I just don't, because firstly, I don't know enough about him. But secondly, just looking at his previous stints, he's only been at clubs for 1 or 2 seasons at a time. That, as I said, completely contradicts what we as a club are trying to achieve. And what we could have achieved with Mourinho, but yeah. So, out of these options, the two that I favor are Guardiola and Hiddink. And if I had to be completely honest with you, as much as it hurts me to say, I would love Pep Guardiola to come to Chelsea. I would love for him to come to Chelsea. In fact, I remember 3 seasons ago when Mourinho when Chelsea just sacked, who was it? When Chelsea just sacked Rafa Benitez and Chelsea were looking for a manager. I think that's the summer that Pep Guardiola left Barcelona, and there was so much speculation about Chelsea signing Pep Guardiola, but also there was speculation about Chelsea signing Jose Mourinho. And I remember as a fan watching this, thinking to myself, if Jose Mourinho wasn't available, I would love Pep Guardiola to come. But of course, I wanted Mourinho to come. He did come. It was great. We had a great time. But now he's gone. Pep Guardiola's on the market, or he potentially could be on the market. I think it would be good. It hurts me to say this, but Pep Guardiola to come and manage Chelsea. He's a quality manager. We all know that. I think out of these options, I'd be happiest seeing him. But for who is the most, what's the word? Guys, I just completely blanked out here. I'm sorry, guys. The most probable, that's the word. The most probable option, I think, is Gus Hiddink, because he's currently out of a job. Sorry, guys. Just like Rodgers and Juan de Ramos, actually. They don't have a job as well right now. But Gus Hiddink doesn't have a job. He's been at Chelsea before. He's got contacts. And he's proven that he's a quality manager at many different clubs at the international level. In fact, he's the current manager for Netherlands. But you could argue that Netherlands aren't performing their best internationally right now. But yeah, I think he's the most probable. And if you guys remember, as I said, Sunderland in 2 days. I don't think Chelsea are going to hire someone in that quick of a time. I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe it will. I don't know. Right now, the Chelsea board is surprising me with everything that they do. But I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they should do that because that would be rash to sack someone and hire someone the next day. And, I don't think that's a smart thing to do. And probably Steve Holland would take over. And by the way, guys, I don't know what Mourinho's departure means for the backroom staff, like Rui Faria, who is our I forgot what the word is, but who's one of the backroom staff. Silvinho, I don't know what's gonna happen to him. I'm fairly certain Steve Holland's gonna stay. I'm pretty sure Steve Holland will be our interim manager until we hire one of these candidates. But I don't know what's going to happen to Rui Faria and Silvinho, if they're going to move with Mourinho as they have done in the past, or if they're going to stay with the club. I think they're probably going to move with Mourinho. So whoever comes next as manager will bring in his own backroom staff, of course. We'll see what happens, guys. But yeah, that just kind of sums up the video, guys. I don't really know what else to say. All I can say is that I am not happy about this. I think this is a huge mistake. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully we hire a new manager and our season kicks off and we go ahead and win the league, the Champions League, and the FA Cup, and it's the most historical season in Chelsea's history. Who knows? You guys know that I like to be an optimist. I like to look at the bright side of things. Right now, I don't really see a bright side. I love this man. It sucks that he's gone, but he is gone. The reality is, he's gone. We're gonna have to deal with it. We're gonna miss him. We're gonna continue to love him, but he's gone. And that just about wraps up the video, guys. As the title says, Jose Mourinho has been sacked. Hopefully, we do get a qualified, a good manager like Hiddink or Guardiola. I think Guardiola would be the best, as I've said. But for the Sunderland game, I'm fairly certain Steve Holland will be in charge of that. Who knows what's going to happen? Imagine the instability behind the scenes right now. Imagine how the players are feeling. Actually, imagine how the players are feeling. That's an interesting question. Are they going to be happy about this? Are they going to be sad about this? Are they going to be mixed about this? Who knows? Who knows? And but speaking of the players, Eden Hazard, I planned this whole episode today, guys, and I'm sorry, I was going to talk about the Leicester City game this weekend in this video, but I mean, this takes precedence, definitely. By the way, guys, Leicester City, quick recap. We didn't play the best. But when Mourinho made the tactical change to take off John Terry and put on Fabregas, we came back alive, and I'm gonna miss that. His braveness, his willingness to do whatever it takes to win, his willingness to, his ability, his ability to look at games in a different way, to analyze teams so effectively, and to make substitutes that no one would even think of making. We're gonna miss him, guys. As I said, Eden Hazard is injured. Actually, who knows if he's injured, because Chelsea haven't had a big statement on him yet, but it will be interesting. They haven't had an official statement on him yet. There is no press conference tomorrow, so we're not going to find out if Hazard's injured or not for the long term. But it'll be interesting to see how Hazard progresses under the new manager, because obviously Mourinho is famous for his focus on defense first, attack later. So players like Ronaldo and Hazard, who have worked with him in the past, have been told to, do their defensive shift as well as the offensive shift, like Willian does, kind of. But under another manager like Guardiola or Hiddink, who are a lot more free in their style of play, Hazard could flourish. Maybe that's, let's be optimistic here. Maybe that is the light at the end of the tunnel that we're not seeing right now. Who knows what can happen, as I said. I feel like I'm rambling, guys. I really just want to end the video here. As I said, Mourinho sacked. It sucks, but let's move on with our lives, guys. Let's move on with the season. Game against Sunderland on Saturday. Hopefully, we get a result, but we'll see then. Thanks for watching, guys. We're all gonna miss Mourinho, but The only thing we can do in dark times like this is to stay blue.